Hello and welcome to Ball Around the Head, Game 4 edition with reactions and analysis from me, Andrew, and Ben. So the Lakers took a 3-1 lead tonight after it was actually a good game for once throughout the whole entire game. Actually, not the whole game until the end. The Lakers blew away, but AD hit clutch shots. KCP hit some clutch shots. Miami didn't. Their offense went stagnant near the end. So my main question is KCP the reason the Lakers won, Andrew?
Why would you even say that? First off, good for KCP for finally playing well, even though he did kind of play well in game one. I would say he's not the reason they won because obviously LeBron James had to wheel his entire team to that victory for his son's birthday, so mad respect. And then also Anthony Davis actually decided to play today, which was pretty nice. I mean, it took him, an entire first half and then the entire third quarter. But Anthony Davis and LeBron did the usual. They got 20 points, or they need to score 20, both of them, for them to win. So I'm going to say no, KCP is not the reason the Lakers won, but I will say he's a role player and he should be doing this every night, especially when LeBron James gets 3 defenders on him and then gets beat up by diving into the basket, and then he literally gets open looks. He went 3 for 8 with open looks at 3 at the 3-pointer. So just only 3 for 8, but good for KCP, I guess. But he's not the reason they won.
Ben?
I mean, I'll say he was a big part of the reason they won. It reminds me of Frank Vogel's quote that our third guy is the open man. I mean, they have a different third scorer every night, and tonight it was KCP. They always need someone to fill that role. It's not like he had a crazy game, 15 points, 50% shooting, but he was a big part of their win. It was a close game, so they really needed him. He hit a couple clutch, or at least one clutch shot down the stretch. So, yeah, he wasn't the reason they won, but he was a big part of it.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm just going to go bold. I think he's one of the biggest reasons that they won. I feel like last couple games, he hasn't really hit shots, him and Danny Green. In this game, he started off hot, kept you guys in the game when Miami tried to get off to a hot start like last game. And then at the end, he played great. He made a clutch 3, he made a clutch layup, and that kind of put the game away right there. To that point, his success near the end of the game was more Duncan Robinson having no idea what to do on defense. And that was not fun to see. I'm just here sitting yelling at him. He doesn't know what to do. He's a liability on the defensive end. I get he gave him 17 points tonight, but at what cost? They had Rondo attack him at the end of the game. They had Pope to attack him at the end of the game. LeBron tried to get onto him every single pick and roll. They always try to get Robinson onto him. At one point, does Spoelstra not put him in the end lineup? Like Iguodala, I know he can't hit down a 3, but he can guard, and so they can't really switch that. Hero isn't the best defender in the world, but I mean he could definitely hold it better than Duncan Robinson did. So it is a little bit Duncan Robinson's fault, but KCP made the shots he needed to. He was a third scorer for that team tonight, and as Andrew mentioned, LeBron and AD are to get their shots. They're going to score. But I feel like without KCP's contributions, if he shot like he did the past few games, they maybe would have lost this game. That's just my opinion. So a big part of the first half, and to me, it was actually hilarious when Jeff Van Gundy said that LeBron needs to realize that his team is wearing purple and gold. And on Twitter, LeBron fans were not happy about it because, I mean, LeBron fans are LeBron fans. But it's true. LeBron had 5 turnovers in the first half. And they weren't like great defensive turnovers. They were just kind of sloppy passes and whatnot. So, Ben, are LeBron's turnovers a cause for concern?
They're not a cause for concern because I don't think that he'll continue to have those type of turnovers going forward. But they definitely are a problem if it continues to happen. Like, they're definitely a big reason this game was close in the first half. Yeah, like you mentioned, like, one of his passes, it was a simple post up to AD, and he just threw it out of bounds for no reason. But LeBron's LeBron. He'll figure it out next game. I'm not worried that this will be a problem going forward. But it's definitely important for him to rectify that problem.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, okay, he had 5 turnovers in the first half. Okay, how many did he have in the entire game? Only 6. So he figured out what the problem was in the second half of the game, and he kind of minimized the turnovers when it was, because you want to not have turnovers in the second half of the game because that's when the game's kind of decided almost. I'm going to say that LeBron James does what he wants, and if he wanted to do turnovers, he did it on purpose because that's what he does everything on purpose. And he's the best player of all time, best player in the world right now. So, yeah, those turnovers, not a cause for concern because he did them on purpose, obviously. So, yeah, and just like I kind of just mentioned, he'll fix it next game just like he fixed it in the second half. So I'm going to agree with Ben. So, yeah, I'm not really concerned at all about these turnovers. I think it's more like the team's turnovers than just LeBron, but LeBron did have the most turnovers on the Lakers.
I just want to say to that point of it won't carry over to the next game. He had 8 last game and 6 this game. It's an improvement, but it's still really horrible. 6 turnovers is terrible, no matter who you are.
8 is greater than 6, so we're going somewhere.
6 is horrible. Like 3 or 2 is an average. 6 is terrible. So I mean, it's a little cause for concern. I think LeBron, as you guys mentioned, figured it out by realizing I shouldn't pass as much. And then he finished the first half with 8 points, and in the second half he had 20. And like you said, he had 1 turnover, which was just, LeBron taking over the game, realizing, all right, I don't want this to be a best-of-3 series now. Let's just take a 3-1 lead, and we'll have 3 chances of winning this series. When I say cause for concern too, I mean, the Lakers most likely are going to win this series. For me, it's like 99.9999% chance. You don't ever want to count out a team, but kind of feels like this is the Lakers to lose. So even though his turnovers are horrible, Miami didn't really capitalize on it as much. They still – I'm going to get to their offense. I'm going to go a little around their offense a little later, but as long as LeBron makes winning plays, I feel like he can cancel out any turnovers he makes, no matter how horrible the pass was. So, and I like when he did that turnover to Anthony Davis, and he looked at Anthony Davis like it was all his fault when,
But the thing is, like, that's the ball. That's the ball. Anthony Davis.
No, he to me, that looked like he was saying my bad, and then he just dapped him up.
No, he was pretty upset at Anthony Davis, and I was too.
I saw him get mad.
Yeah, that was Anthony Davis's fault. Like, come on, man, just catch the ball. You're 7 feet.
And also on that point, I loved when Kuzma turned it over, and you could just see LeBron hustling back just like this the whole time.
Oh yeah,
you can see LeBron and Kuzma don't have the greatest relationship, but I mean they're winning and they're about to win a championship, so it doesn't really matter.
He wears a lot of emotion on his face. But, Kuzma was the guy. You got to think that when the Lakers traded away all their young talent, you've got to think LeBron had some say in the decision to keep the one guy, Kuzma.
Well, he tried to trade him in the middle of the season last year, so I think they were just like, all right, they just probably pulled straws on which one was going to get kept. And look, Kuzma drew the short straw, or the long straw.
At the trade deadline that the Knicks wanted Kuzma in exchange for Marcus Morris, and the Lakers didn't want to give up Kuzma no matter who returned. Kuzma for Morris, and I believe it was Derrick Rose as well, which Derrick Rose on this team would have been very scary. But they kept Kuzma, so I think Ben's right. Maybe it's more ownership, but LeBron still must have said, I mean, I'm fine with him. But, I mean, he's young, so he's going to make a couple mistakes.
Wait, I actually, during the game, was like, Kuzma's getting traded next year because I feel like they just have to – I feel like he's not going to become any player like that they think he's going to become. And I feel like they can just trade him while people still think he's good. So I'm like, Kuzma to the Wizards? That's what I was thinking.
You Laker fans are ruthless. I saw online that there are petitions to not give Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma rings.
They don't deserve him. I deserve one more than him.
That's ridiculous.
Laker fans are there's something else, man. There's something else.
I still like Kuzma, man. I still think LeBron and the rest of that team does. I think they just, LeBron's intense. It's the NBA Finals. He's going to get mad at him. That doesn't mean he doesn't like him.
I miss Slim Kuzi. I liked the hair when it was like that.
And if LeBron loses this series, his legacy is going to be so tarnished. So he can't do that as well because this is a
Magic Johnson will be better than him if he doesn't win. That's what I'm thinking.
Anyways, we're going to move on after that little sidetrack discussion. One thing that the announcers and probably everyone at home noticed, Jimmy Butler has a lot of wide open layups, and he passes them out a lot. And most of the time, it's not really a good pass out. It's kind of a turnover or the guy's heavily contested. So, Andrew, why does Jimmy Butler pass up on so many layups?
I'm not even going to say he passes them up on the layups because I just think it's getting open looks. Like he has shooters on the team. He has 3 shooters usually on the floor. Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jay Crowder is shooting pretty well. Who else can shoot? Who else? Not Miles Leonard. Kelly Olynyk. So he has shooters on the floor, and that's why he goes to the basket and kicks it out. But I will agree that he kind of does do that maybe too often, especially when he just dropped 40. He needs to be aggressive for them to win, and he didn't want to do that this game, I guess. It probably most likely though is because the Lakers had some sort of defensive presence in the paint today. Anthony Davis decided to take a turn at playing defense. LeBron James was in the paint, but he was just fouling more than actually getting like blocks and stuff. So I just think it's more like the Lakers defense is kind of scaring him and he has open shooters than he's choosing to pass up on a layup.
Ben?
I don't know really why he passes them up. Maybe he's taking notes on LeBron's play style. He's taking it a bit too far or something. I don't know. But like you said, Andrew, I think most likely the biggest part of it is that he's just scared of AD. I mean, you'll see most of the time when that happens, it's AD's in the paint and he's not really going up the shot, block the shot. Butler's just scared of him. And for the most part, that works for the Heat. Like, I think they're at their best when he's a facilitator, but he's definitely had open layups multiple times in the series and just passed it for no reason.
Yeah, he was getting demolished. Good point, Eli. He did kind of get blocked by Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter there and probably started crying. It would be tomorrow. It's going to be big tear coffee, not big face.
I'm going to strongly disagree yet again with you guys. I feel like it's not really the Lakers defense because if you look at some of the tape, he's just wide open. He doesn't shoot it. It's not that there's someone on the weak side about to block him. There's some plays where he's just wide open. He passes it out to Crowder, who's guarded at the 3-point line, and they don't shoot the ball. They turn it over. It's shot clock violation.
I'm not saying that it's the Lakers defense. I think just he personally is scared of AD. Like even when AD's not about to block him.
Also the shooters. I think it is the shooters more than the Lakers defense, though, and that's why 3 is better than 2. So pass it out to the open shooter. He's guarded by 2 people.
Robinson and Hero have not been shooting the 3 well at all. Crowder's been struggling as well. So I'm just confused, really. I don't know. I feel like he could even get fouled. They foul him so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Like LeBron gets fouled when he goes to the rim almost all the time. So why can't Jimmy Butler? He can go and he draws contact. I mean, I just feel like that's worst case scenario. Might as well just go up and get blocked. Go ahead. Who cares? You got blocked. You went for an attempt. It's better than turning the ball over. And their shot clock violations. And this is not really related to this topic, but speaking of shot clock violations, they're after timeouts today, which I don't know if you guys know, but that's a play after they call timeout. They were horrible. They were so bad. They were turnovers, contested threes. Duncan Robinson got so lucky he made that 1-3. Their quarter offense was just terrible tonight. And I mean, that's credit to the Lakers defense. They didn't really have good looks, but at the same time, like Jimmy Butler was he like what he was like last game? He just didn't really look for a shot at all. They gave him the 3, and Jimmy Butler doesn't like shooting. I think he shot 1 3 tonight. Oh no, 2 threes, I believe.
0 for 3.
Oh, my bad. I don't know. I just feel like he needs to be more aggressive. And now I'm excited to see what Jimmy Butler's going to do in a game 5 with their backs against the wall. I don't know if he might take on the full-on approach of I'm going to shoot 40 shots. Maybe. I don't know. When they were down 2-0, he took over big time, so who knows. So to that point, actually, Miami's down now 3-1. And in this playoffs, we've had 2 3-1 comebacks, but not one since the conference semifinals, and both of them were by the Denver Nuggets, who are now sitting at home watching the NBA Finals. But Miami, throughout this playoffs and the regular season and the bubble, have shown that they're not really afraid of anyone. They don't care what the media says. No one expected them in the finals, so they're just playing their hearts out. So, Ben, can Miami come back from being down 3-1?
No, I mean, it's extremely unlikely. I mean, they kept it close this game, and obviously they won last game, so the games have been better than a lot of people have expected the past few days, but a 3-1 deficit, against an overmatched Lakers team, or the Heat are overmatched by the Lakers. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I don't know what you want from me as a Lakers fan to tell you anything else, but that's all I got.
Andrew?
No. End the question. No, I just don't think that the Miami Heat are going to come back 3-1. Like, how many teams come back 3-1 without LeBron? The Nuggets, okay, LeBron's on the enemy team. Done. Who else? Oh, yeah. Cavaliers against the Warriors. Oh, yeah, LeBron's not on your team. So, I mean, those are just examples that I'm thinking of because it's more like relative to today's NBA history. I mean, but I do not think the Miami Heat will come back 3-1 just because there's that's 4 games that they're gonna or 3 games that they're gonna have to win in a row, and I just don't see that happening, especially when the Lakers are really good coming off of a loss. I mean, they've won every single game off of a loss, and I guess real quick, want to shout out Lakers won in Game 4. How many Game 4s have they won in? Oh yeah, every single Game 4 in the playoffs. So when I say Lakers in foe, I was talking about Game 4, and I knew they were going to win Game 4. So they've won 4 Game 4s so far. So Lakers are foe 4 times.
Hey, the only Lakers in 4 I care about is 4 series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lakers in foe. They're making it to the finals. Anyways, Miami Heat will not come back 3-1.
I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes because I really don't like the concept of counting someone out because sports are so awesome to watch for the fact that you just never know. You really never know what's going to happen in any sport. You never know when an injury is going to happen. You never know when a buzzer beater is going to happen. You never know. And that's what makes sports so special. But at the same time, the Lakers have been pretty dominant for most of the series. They are the better actually, I don't know. I don't know if they're the better team. They have the better 2 stars. I feel like Miami has more of a team is what I'm trying to say. I feel like LeBron and AD are the better players by far. No contest. But I feel like Miami has a better overall team. That's to my – I mean, without Dragic, maybe it's arguable. But with Dragic, it's unarguable, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But as you guys said, I feel like Frank Vogel has been very underappreciated this series because obviously it's LeBron, so everyone's going to want to compliment LeBron. But I feel like he's made a couple good moves. Like Markieff Morris, has been pretty solid for them this series. He hits a couple threes when he needs to. Game 3, he hit a couple clutch time threes, even though it really didn't matter in the end. But he hit them, and the Heat were rallying back. And Olynyk, he drew a foul on Olynyk from the 3-point shot, which kept the Heat away. He kept on going to KCP and Green, just relying on their history. Green is a 3-time NBA champion. He knows how to. I think it's 3 times.
2 with the Spurs.
He knows how to win.
I don't think it's 3 actually. I feel like he only won the first 2014 with the Spurs, and then obviously with Toronto last year.
I have no idea.
I mean, I'll look it up.
And like Rondo too. I want to shout out Rondo real quick before we go to a next topic. Rondo had 2 points tonight, but he had 7 rebounds and 5 assists, and he was really, really efficient on the field tonight. Not efficient, excuse me, but actually, yeah, I meant efficient, just not scoring wise. He was 1 to 7 from the field, but I want to be bold so I could be right about this and say Miami will come back 3-1, and you could have a video of me saying it. But at the same time, if I say it and they get blown out in Game 5, it could be very awkward. So in the end, I think I'm going to say Miami will lose the next game, and I feel Lakers will celebrate, banner 17. But we'll get
not to call you out or anything, but didn't you say that you thought the Lakers had a 99.9999 chance of winning?
That's what I'm saying. As I was saying, I don't want to count out Miami. Is what I'm saying. That's why I have 99.99. I feel like the Lakers will win, but I just don't want to count out Miami quite yet because
he's not counting them out. He's only giving them a 1% of 1%. You know what I mean? It's not counting them out though. They have a chance.
I don't know. I just want to say be careful. Miami's dangerous, man. So we're done with the NBA Finals, and we'll discuss that more on Friday because remember. The game 5 will not be Thursday; it will be Friday instead. So we're going to move to another bubble in Orlando and the WNBA Finals. They just completed their series today. The Seattle Storm won 3-0 in a sweep, and Breanna Stewart won the Finals MVP. So, Andrew, what are your thoughts on the WNBA Finals?
Well, I didn't even know that it's best of 3. Apparently, that's good to know, I guess. For also good on Brianna Stewart. I'm pretty sure now she's a 2-time Finals MVP, which I'm pretty sure only 4 other WNBA players have 2 Finals MVPs. So she's definitely making a case for herself. Don't know what case, but it's a good one, I guess. So, and also, I guess just they breed them different in Washington. I don't know what to say. Just a very good team up never eat soggy one northwest of the United States. So good, good on Brianna Stewart, I guess, and good on the Seattle Storm for winning 3-0. I guess.
It was dominant sweep. The Storm were undefeated the entire playoffs. I don't watch the WNBA. I've probably watched like 2 games in my life. But I probably for the last 2 years I've been saying to myself, all right, I want to check this out. I want to check out the WNBA. And so next year, I'm going to say it again. I'm finally going to start watching the WNBA because I really should. It's an entertaining league. I looked some things up today because I knew we were going to talk about this, and there's only like 12 teams, fewer games than in the NBA. Obviously, a shorter season this season, and the playoff format is really interesting. 8 teams, and then single games until the semifinals, where you get 2 best of 5 series. So I think that'd be really entertaining. So hopefully I can remember to watch them next season.
Yeah, finally. And also, sorry, wait, are you done, Ben?
No, go ahead. I'm done.
Okay, yeah. So apparently, what's this girl's name? Jewel Lloyd, the Gold Mamba, apparently dedicated this WNBA title to Kobe Bryant. So, I mean, they're in Washington, but I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. So good. So respect to Kobe, the Washington Mamba. Shout out to him. He knows who he is. Kyle Maurerman just had to shout him out real quick, but he gave me the idea for the Washington topic. But yeah, good on the Gold Mamba. Rest in peace to Black Mamba, and the fish better run away from the Washington Mamba because he's slaying up there.
I've actually watched the NBA for the past like 4 or 5 years, not religiously, but I've watched games. I'm a Phoenix Mercury fan. Diana Taurasi is the greatest WNBA player of all time. I'll get in an argument with someone else about that later. But congratulations to the Seattle Storm. It was the Las Vegas Aces were favored to win the series, and it was not like that at all. Today they blew them out by 33 points, I believe, and the whole series was just kind of a blowout. Game 1, Las Vegas battled back a little bit, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. And Brianna Stewart, as Andrew mentioned some of the accolades, I Googled some of her accolades, which is kind of crazy to me. She's 26 years old. She's a two-time champion, 2-time WNBA Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, Olympic gold medalist winner, 2-time All-Star, and an MVP. In these finals, she averaged 27 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1.6 blocks per game, 62% from the field, and 65% from 3, which is really impressive. And I get that WNBA is a lot of is the center for a lot of jokes and people just like joking about it, but it's actually a good project that they produced. That there's social justice issues they like have when they make the name for themselves. People just, like I said, everyone makes fun of them. No one listens to them, but they use their platform for the best. And they've always been like this forever to get them better jobs for whatever it may be. That's something that's very underrated in the WNBA, and that's just like, it's something that people just don't care about because, I mean, people are like, oh, I'd rather watch the NBA, I'd rather watch baseball than watch the WNBA, and they joke about 5 people in attendance, but it's actually a quality product. Just people just like to judge it before even watching it because that's what Americans like to do. But yeah, so I feel like it was a good finals for the Seattle Storm, not for the Las Vegas Aces. It's very disappointing finals for them. Brianna Stewart is continuing to build her legacy, and it's a very, very good win for them. So I'm going to stall some time because we're having some technical difficulties with the special guest that is going to come. And I'm going to ask you guys both a question.
Sure.
Right now, who do you have winning the finals MVP? And let's make this quick.
LeBron James. I mean, like, he's just the best player in the world, and he's been leading this team all season. I mean, I know it's a finals award, and just in the finals, like he's been playing heavy minutes, having the score in the fourth quarter from them to win. He's been making incredible shots, like jaw-dropping shots. I mean, I can see my brother's reaction. I watched a game with him today, and he's a Miami Heat fan, and he just sounds like he gets stabbed every time LeBron shoots him. So, or no, every time LeBron shoots the ball. So, but yeah, LeBron James.
Ben?
Yeah, I'll agree. LeBron James. I had AD at first, and it was looking like AD after the first two games, but then he just didn't really show up in the last two games. And LeBron was the reason they won this game. He kind of carried them. So if I had to predict, I'd say LeBron, but I still think it's up in the air. Whoever plays better over the rest of the series.
I think it's usually whoever plays better, like the last game. I feel like they never ever take account the whole series, which is so unfortunate.
So I have LeBron winning it as well, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we got our special guest in here. Sammy, how is it going? He is not on the stream yet. There we go. Sammy, how's it going?
Doing good, boys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. Ben's going to ask you a couple questions.
Sweet.
Hey, thanks for coming in, man.
Of course.
Sammy's a good friend of mine, another Laker fan. Always like to have him here, so I had to get him on. So first, I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts just in general about what you saw in this game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they really turned it around. First two games looked like this is going to be a sweep. People really Game 3 was the first game I'd ever say, of a Laker playoff game. This whole series, I really wasn't that nervous. And it was kind of weird just for the game. I really thought we were going to sweep these guys. And, Game 3, they just kind of fell asleep, and the Heat came out with a lot of energy, and they looked like they just wanted it more, and it kind of shocked everyone. I think took everyone a little bit back. And then tonight, they came out, and it kind of looked like it was maybe going to be the same thing. Like the Heat came out kind of swinging. The Lakers LeBron looked really off the first half. Didn't look like he was doing. AD was kind of shaky, kind of wondering where he was at the first two games. And then they really turned around the second half. I think that's the thing of a great team is you had guys like Rondo and KCP had a great game tonight, and guys stepping up. Kuzma had a couple valuable minutes. Caruso had some nice things. So, some of the role players really picked it up when guys like LeBron and AD were struggling, and then down the stretch, they were able to get it back and get the victory.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You always need production from those other guys, even though it's LeBron and AD's team.
Shout out to Rondo.
So next, I don't know if you remember, Sammy, but a long time ago, we were playing 2K, and we had a bit of an argument because you were going to try hard and playing zone defense, and I tried to say that the zone was dead in the NBA, that no one ever played the zone anymore, and you disagree with that. So I just wanted to say that the Heat proved me wrong, but they kind of left the zone for today's game. And obviously they lost. So why do you think they went out of the zone for today?
Well, first of all, I do remember that. Ben's a great 2K player here, and I couldn't beat him. I was getting so mad. And I went to the 2-3, and I remember Ben was just fuming over there. He's like, well, the zone doesn't really matter. And we got into the argument. But, tonight I was kind of, I guess I liked that they came out in a man defense because, they'd shown a zone the entire playoffs in most of the series. The one thing I would caveat that with is, LeBron wasn't playing well, and so the zone was, or the man defense was really working because they, guys weren't really hitting shots, and LeBron wasn't really taking over. And then the third quarter, when LeBron started really taking over, and AD, I don't really understand why they didn't go to a zone because the Heat don't have the personnel to just go man to man on the Lakers and really win. If everyone's playing their best ball, the Lakers are going to win 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they would go in the second half, come out in the second half in a zone. They didn't. I think that really opened up for LeBron because no one really could guard him in the third quarter and on. But, I like to switch up if you're a Heat fan in the beginning of the game, but they should have switched it up down the stretch because they couldn't guard anyone down the stretch in the fourth.
Yeah, those are some good points. So next, and I'm going to ask all the guys this after you're done, but what would winning this title do for LeBron's legacy, you think?
Yeah, I mean, kind of before the bubble started, the question was, will it matter as much? Will it, the bubble, this kind of whole different situation with some guys opting out. I had to make the argument it could matter even more in the sense that, with all the things that everyone's been going through this year, 2020, and to be in isolation, locked away from their families, it's a very different, no one's really had to do it in the NBA ever. So I think the feat that them winning this would be a great, and anyone that says, oh, the Clippers didn't get there, like that can't be a knock on LeBron. I mean, LeBron did his job and AD, and they got to the Western Conference Finals, and the Clippers couldn't do it. So I still hold true. I don't think LeBron's the GOAT. I've said this on many occasions. I think it's Michael Jordan, and people debate this all the time. I mean, Kobe's got 5, LeBron's got 3. I do think LeBron hopefully, could get there one day. And this is a big step forward in that if he were able to win in the bubble. But in terms of like the GOAT conversation and Michael and all these guys, I think he needs a few more personally to really have a real shot at the legacy, because going 3 for 9 in the finals as of right now, I don't think cuts it. But, we'll see what happens in the coming years.
Wait, you said Michael was the GOAT. My name's not Michael. It's Andrew. But yeah. Interesting.
So what do you guys think, Daniel, Andrew? How do you think this will affect his legacy if he wins or if he loses?
Well, I think, like I said last stream, for LeBron to be the GOAT, he has to three-peat with this Lakers team, which I can definitely see happening. So then he gets the Lakers three-peat, and he gets the three-peat in general because he couldn't do it with Miami. And then I feel like just playing with his son, and if he can win with his son, then he's, no matter what, he's literally the GOAT. How many other NBA players have even played with their son? None. Actually, I'm not going to say none, but I don't know. I'm thinking like John Stockton, but I know his son didn't play well, and I know John Stockton was retired, but I wonder if he helped coach. I don't really know. But I just think for LeBron to be the GOAT, which he's definitely, I'm not going to say he is right now, even though I say all the time, but realistically, the 3-9 finals depends on what's going to happen. 4-10, 3-10. It's still not really that good of a record. But winning this championship is definitely going in the right direction. Like, you know what I mean? Winning any championship is going in the right direction. But it's not as much as does LeBron have to pass Michael, which is questionable. Like I said before, does LeBron have to pass Andrew? And that could not be happening anytime soon.
I said this multiple times that if he loses this championship, his legacy is tarnished forever. And that's my opinion, because this is the finals that he needs to win. This is no excuses. There's no Avery Bradley, so it doesn't count. AD's not playing well. It doesn't matter. This team, you're better than this team. You have 2 superstars. They have a good team, but you have 2 superstars that have led you all the way to the NBA Finals, to 3 wins in the NBA Finals. And if you blow a 3-1 lead, LeBron will never, ever, ever, ever hear the end of it, ever, because this will tarnish his legacy forever. Everyone's going to say, well, Jordan never did this, Jordan never did that. And I'm with Sammy, and I believe that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I don't believe LeBron's going to do it. I feel like LeBron needs, I don't know. I feel maybe 7 championships would give him the GOAT thing, but he's getting up there in age. I don't know if he's in a Lakers financial situation is going to get pretty strange after this year. So, and I can guarantee that their core will not be back after this year. So, well, core as in people outside of Davis and LeBron. Let's clarify that one. But I feel like if they win this championship, it will just add on to it. But as they've said, a 4-6 finals record is horrible. Like, I get, yes, he made it to 10 championships. Like, okay, that's a big deal. But one can argue the Eastern Conference was horrible, and it kind of was. There wasn't really that much competition in the East for a while. And then he went to the West, and as Sammy said, people like to point out that they never beat the Clippers. At the same time, the Clippers didn't do their job, so they never had a chance to beat the Clippers. So it's not really their fault at all. They did what they're supposed to do. They're about to win maybe in every series 5 games, which is kind of crazy. So I think if he wins this, it's going to add to the legacy, but I still think he needs to do a lot more to become the GOAT.
Dude, your Celtics were – oh, sorry, Sammy, but real quick. Your Celtics were in the Eastern Conference with LeBron on the Cavs. So are you going to just say that, like, there's no competition or what? I mean, aren't you big Celtics?
I mean, when we faced them in the Eastern Conference Finals, we were full of a bunch of rookies and Al Horford. So, I mean, I really never expected us to win that Eastern Conference Finals. And the year before that, we had Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, which isn't really an NBA Finals championship team. So, yeah, the East was kind of horrible, and I kind of stick by that. I love my Celtics, but it's just
okay. But then Orlando, wasn't Dwight Howard there, and then who else? Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls, right?
If you bring up Orlando Howard, the Celtics made the finals, beat LeBron 2 out of 3 years to make it to the finals. So, I mean,
how many rings do the Celtics have?
1.
How many rings does LeBron have? 3. Yeah. Okay.
I agree with like I agree in the fact that, you know, also on top of this finals, no matter what LeBron says to the media about how, you know, there's no Pat Riley versus him kind of thing, you know, the three, right, if he blew a 3-1 lead, I mean, that would kill his legacy, because, you know, I mean, he got here, he needs to win a finals, and LeBron, if you look at his stats in the regular season and the playoffs, you know, he's been pretty much stellar. But the one thing that you can say on LeBron is that he hasn't always got it done. Outside of the 3-1 comeback on the Warriors, he hasn't really got it done in some big moments. And you know, I mean, this is very real. The Pat Riley thing, like, no matter what he wants to say to the media, that would be a, you know, there's definitely some revenge there that he wants to get. And you know, not that he dislikes Miami, because they were good to him, but, you know, Pat Riley wasn't exactly great to him on his way out.
Yeah, internet trolls constantly say that there's a good argument that LeBron should have like 1 championship. But if anything, Allen saved him. Like Duncan didn't come over on the. I mean, there's argument. You see the trolls all the time online. They're always.
Oh, yeah, they're okay. I thought you were saying that. Like, that's just dumb to say. Everybody has, like, literally Michael Jordan, John Paxson, right? He made the shot for the 3rd champion, or was it 1st or 3rd? I don't know. But anyway, doesn't matter. We'll talk about this maybe another time.
Yeah, I think the case for LeBron, if anyone tries to say he's the GOAT, which I also don't agree with, I think it's probably Jordan, although we could get into that another time. The case for LeBron is about how many finals he's made it to and on what teams he's made those finals. It's not going to be how he's done in the finals, because his finals record is not good.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely needs to win this finals. Like, I agree with Daniel. Like, his legacy takes a big hit if he blows this lead. And this is a unique chapter to add to his history. You know, the bubble being his 17th season. So it would be unique in terms of the other guys in that conversation for him to win this one, because no one's ever won a championship in a bubble before.
Yeah.
Real quick, while we have Jimmy here, actually, we have a comment. Me, Andrew, and Ben gave our answers. Our answers were LeBron James. But Sammy, who do you have winning Finals MVP?
Yeah, I caught the end of what you guys were saying there, and I agreed with you in the fact that I think LeBron's going to get it. I would probably give it to AD, but, you know, I agree with you know, it usually is how guys played on the stretch. I think it's LeBron's to lose. The only way I see AD getting it really is if he goes off in this next game and just really cements it. But, you know, LeBron definitely is the favorite, and, you know, he is the leader of the team, so I get that. But if you're really I mean, LeBron hasn't played great in this series, I would say, or at least the last 2 games. You know, AD went off game 2. I would pick AD right now, but, you know, if LeBron gets it, you know, he's one of the main reasons we're winning as well. So, you know, I'm not going to be upset.
Anthony, I do see your comment, but I feel like one stream we will have a discussion on LeBron. I feel like a whole stream dedicated to the argument for and against LeBron we should have, but right now we need to kind of wrap this up. Ben, do you have any more questions?
No. Thanks so much for joining us, Sammy. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, wait, I have one more question for Sammy. Sorry. What jersey are you rocking today?
You kind of cut out there. What did you say?
I said, what jersey are you rocking today?
Oh, rocking the classic Elgin Baylor. Got to rep the classics. Got to and you know, when you walk around in a brand new LeBron jersey, then you get the bandwagon and stuff like that. So got to rep old school. But yeah, I was gonna say thanks for having me on the show. I watched it all the time. I really like what you guys are doing, and thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. That means a lot. So I want to thank Sammy for joining. I want to thank you guys who are commenting. Even though we do not answer some of your comments, I do read all of them. Trust me. Eli, I'm mainly talking to you. I do read your comments. Trust me. So please subscribe to this channel. We are 15 subs away from our goal. It's very doable. Please follow us on Instagram at Ball Around the Head. Go listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever you may listen to. Like the video, comment any suggestions you want us to talk about maybe next stream, and we'll be gladly to talk about them. So thank you to Sammy again. Thank you to Andrew and Ben for their amazing insight yet again, and we are out of here. Peace.
Lakers in 5, not 4, but 5.